Hello everybody, this
Hello.
is Hattie
And Hannah,
and this is our first podcast.
which is a very exciting thing.
So if you're listening, we're very grateful and hello. A little bit of background. I am Hattie and I live in South London with my husband Ramsey. Hattie stands for charity, which is my full name, and I've just started a new job working for a conference production company. So that's me.
I'm Hannah, and I also live in South London. I've recently moved into a community house, so I live with 10 other people, and we do life together as a community, which is awesome. Already loving it. And I have also recently started a new job. I work at a fully outdoors nursery, with 2 to 5 year olds playing in the woods all day, which is good fun.
And fun fact, Hannah is now sleeping in the bed that I used to sleep in
the community house. Same bedding and everything.
Yeah. So, Hannah, it is Advent. This is our Christmas podcast, I guess.
Yeah.
And the community house, which we're sitting in right now, is bedecked with fairy lights and Christmas trees. What is your favourite part of Christmas?
Favourite part of Christmas is time to just pause on normal life, different rhythms, spending time with family, spending time with God, just thinking about the reason for the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the way that you can do that at a slower pace. Once Christmas has actually started, often it's a bit mad before Christmas, which I really don't like.
Mm-hmm.
But once you kind of get home and are there slowing down, enjoying time with people, I love that. Yeah. What about you, Hattie?
I actually really like the evenings coming in quicker. Most people don't like it getting dark at 4 p.m, but I'm quite a fan of it. I like lights coming up because, living in London.
I think I knew that about you. There we go.
I like the lights coming on and the streets and being lit up with little fairy lights. Oh, and that also, probably eggnog is one of my favourite things. Which one of your housemates makes really well.
Yeah, I only tried it for the first time last Saturday.
It's delicious. If you've never made eggnog, check out Delia's eggnog recipe. So this is our first podcast, and
Yes, as some of you may know, we recently started a blog together called Anam Cara. And part of us starting that blog was a kind of realising how much we enjoyed not just thinking about deep things, but actually kind of putting those thoughts into writing and vocalising them, because I think everyone thinks deep thoughts themselves, but we kind of grew to understand both separately and together that was something we enjoyed doing in a more formalised way. And then thinking about what the mediums that people use to do that kind of thinking and more formalised thinking. Podcasts seem to be one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought, let's give it a shot and just share some of our thoughts and stories.
Yeah, basically we just want to tell our story. So we've started Anam Cara, which means soul friendship, and it's because Hannah and I recognised that's a level that we've kind of got to in our friendship, and it hasn't happened without a little bit of on purposeness. And so we're just going to tell our story maybe from both of our angles, and hope that you can kind of understand a little bit of where Anam Cara kind of comes from and what it means.
Why didn't you tell us where we first met, what that was like, what our kind of first stage of our friendship was?
Yeah. So Hannah and I met when we were 18, preparing to go out on a gap tour, whatever. We were moving to the Gambia for 5 months with a team of 12 of us, and we had a few weekends leading up to our departure in January where we met for the first time. And we'd never met before. I'd met a few of the other people who were coming on the trip with us, but I hadn't met Hannah. I guess the initial impact that Hannah gave is that she's very put together, very fun, very beautiful, very intelligent, very adventurous, up for anything. And you may think, oh, great, that's a great person to get to know. I, as an immature 18-year-old, did not think that. I thought, okay, all these things, yeah, she's a threat. I don't want to get to know this girl. I want this girl to get out of my life so that I can be all of those things for myself and so that I can get all the attention. I basically just thought that she was raining on my parade a little bit because she was good at some of the things that I was good at. So yeah, they were my initial thoughts. What were your initial thoughts, Hannah?
My initial thoughts. Well, those of you who were at Hattie's wedding a couple of years ago will remember my initial thoughts were actually to do with the jumper she was wearing, and how I would never wear such a thing myself, and I couldn't quite conceive what this knitted denim jacket combination was. Soon grew to have realised that this wasn't going to be something I could separate from Hattie, it being a favourite item of clothing.
I only stopped wearing it because it got stolen on a night out. I was so sad.
It's quite something. So yes, I very distinctly remember sitting on a sofa having some sort of conversation that I can't remember, but remembering this jumper. That aside, yeah, over the course of those 5 months and those first weekends that we first got to know each other, I think I possibly also, not as clearly felt Hattie as a threat, but just felt like I couldn't really understand or kind of grasp her almost as a concept, just because she just seemed to roll over any of the bumps in life that we came across in the Gambia without any real problems, and just was very happy all the time and just jolly and easygoing, and which I think I sort of appreciated from afar, but also found it very baffling and just quite alienating, because I just couldn't it was just so far from my experience of life that I just didn't know how to engage with it, and it just sort of felt, I wouldn't call it surface level or shallow, but just couldn't make any sort of deeper connection.
I would probably use those words. I think I was, well, maybe the words I'd use are emotionally immature. I think I certainly was at the age of 18. Life had been pretty easy up till then, and I could just, grin and get through anything. Things weren't very difficult. And I distinctly remember having a chat with you in the Gambia about, you said something like, when you were 16, I think you asked God for trials, or you asked God for something difficult to happen in your life in order that you might learn to rely on God a little bit more. And then you almost had a breakdown, I think, in your last year of school, and you kind of had to battle with depression and these things. And it was really the first time that I'd talked to anyone who was willing to be open about that sort of stuff. At least I'm sure I come across people in my life who had experienced those things, but that just nobody talked about them. And I certainly was a very steady Eddie, and I had a very limited kind of emotional bandwidth that I was operating in. And thank God recently it's been widening up a little bit, and it comes with getting married and that sort of stuff. But at that point I was pretty immature, and probably could have come across as a little bit dismissive of people's struggles. I didn't want to engage with them.
Yeah, I think there's a feeling of just okay, that's just happening, but I don't I don't think I ever felt it was a malicious dismissive-ness, but it was just a mystery to you almost. Just okay, she's crying again.
Yeah, probably.
I cried a lot in those 5 months.
I didn't cry at all. Cried with laughter, but I basically went to Leeds University and met a woman there through a church who opened up my eyes a little bit to the emotional side of my life, which I just never thought about before. And it was throughout my second year of uni that I really realised that I had treated Hannah with not disdain, but with coldness and a certain amount of kind of being removed because of this threat that I perceived her to be, and because of my competitiveness. I had been probably slightly unkind to you. Not, as you say, not intentionally. It sort of just happened without me understanding what was going on. I was like, my brain obviously just went, right, competitor, don't get close to her, just keep doing your thing, pretend she's not there. And then in my second year of uni, I basically realised that that's what I'd sort of done to you, and I didn't think that you really knew or understood what had happened when we were there. But I realised it inside me, and I knew that I needed to talk to you about it, and I knew that I needed to, because we were still in contact a little bit, you know, we were going on summer camps together and occasionally messaging, but it wasn't a deep friendship at that point. And so, yeah, a year and a half after getting back from the Gambia, Hannah was at my house, and I was like, I think I just said, hey Hannah, can I talk to you kind of privately, because there were a few other team members around. And we went into the dining room, and I just really clearly remember basically just explaining what had happened and saying sorry, and saying that I wanted our friendship to move in a different direction, and but I think I also probably said, like, I understood if that wasn't cool, because I realised that I had hurt you in certain ways that neither of us really realised. So yeah, I had that feeling inside me that I knew I needed to say sorry, and then I guess I had to just leave it up to you as to how you respond.
Yeah, it was quite a remarkable morning, just in kind of, I didn't really know what was coming at all when Hattie said, oh, like, can I have a chat with you? And then it just felt like, weirdly, I don't know, I was just so struck by the boldness or the bravery of the courage to kind of open up that conversation. And I'd had deep friendships before, like really deep friendships, but I don't think I'd ever really, they'd always just grown over time and kind of just shared experience and shared life. But to have someone who had always just seemed so put together and so unlike me in so many ways, just rolling over the like bumps in life with ease, to kind of sort of stop and reflect in that way was so powerful and really humbling for me as well, just seeing how I don't think I would have ever been brave enough to take that kind of step, even if I had been sort of aware of what was going on. So I guess my kind of reflection on that moment came in the days and weeks after that, just realising quite how precious that was. And yeah, I guess being able to, I don't think I would have been able to express what Hattie had expressed until she'd said it, that be able to look back and see how that made a lot of sense of how we'd related to each other. And also how I had also distanced Hattie in just this kind of, this person who I don't understand, who's it's fun to hang around, but who just seems to operate on a different plane, and suddenly we were on this deeper level. There was a Bible verse that you shared then, from Ephesians 5, about how opening, like letting light shine into darkness, and how like you have to both recognise the darkness and then let the light in order to grow and to move into a deeper level. And that really felt like what we had done in that moment. And amazingly, I guess it'd be easy for a moment like that to kind of to be like, wow, that was deep, and then move on. Okay, awkward, like, okay, thank you. But yeah, what happened was that just really opened the door for just deeper and deeper life sharing together and sharing of our inmost beings.
And I think it was a mixture of like my humility, but also your maturity, definitely, because you could have responded in many different ways, but you chose to to respond out of, I guess love, mostly. And as you say, from there it really fused us together in this incredible journey of basically just, if like something so difficult had been at the beginning of our relationship almost, and we'd worked through that and come out the other side, it made a lot of the other conversations a lot easier. So we've really been able to confess like some of the deepest, darkest pit stuff to one another, because we know that we're in safe hands. And that's it. For me, it was like one of my first intimate relationships, obviously not romantic, but like being intimate with another human is all about laying out who you are. And that is what Anam Cara is, really. It's allowing somebody to see the deepest parts of you without having to hide them, and not being afraid that you'll be rejected, but because knowing of them. Knowing that you'll be loved because you showed somebody, you've been vulnerable enough to show them those parts of you. Anam Cara, the blog, is hopefully a tribute to that moment of our friendship where we knew that we were in safe hands with each other and we could say anything, and that really is liberating for us as humans, because we are just big, complicated bundles of atoms and emotions and all sorts of things. So we hope that people will listen to this, and obviously it won't be exactly the same as our story, but listen and think, what could you be doing to find Anam Cara and be investing in those relationships?
And even if it's not kind of, like finding your best friend sort of thing, recognising that lots of people I still often have moments when I think, oh, I have no friends, even though I know that's not the case. But like seeking, just a huge part of it is just seeking to be real, and just that's what Hattie modelled to me in that moment, and has beautifully and wonderfully modelled to me since. And thank you for listening, if you've got this far.
Thank you so much for sticking with us.
We wish you a very happy Christmas, and hope the plan is that there will be more podcasts to come in the new year. So watch this space for that. And we'd love to hear, I guess, if you've got any suggestions as well of things you'd like us to chat about, questions you'd like to ask us, or
send us an email, anamcarablog@gmail.com. We love you guys. Happy Christmas.
Bye.
Bye.